Do you tend to hold on to things when you are uncertain about what's going to happen? Hi, I'm Michelle at Financial Design Studio, and today I want to talk through something that we typically hold on to a little bit more when we aren't sure what's going to happen. So just like parents, you may hang on to things that you had from a first child because you don't know if you're going to have another child and you don't want to have to re-buy those same things. Well, just like that, we tend to hold on to cash when we aren't quite sure what's going to happen. And today we're talking about savings, our savings accounts, how much we should have, why we have them, and all the good details about savings. So first, money that we have in savings accounts, we're going to talk through it, and the definition we're going to use is that this is money that is going to be liquid. We want it to be accessible when we need it. So these are the two things as we talk about savings today. Just keep in mind that if you're thinking you have savings accounts, this is what would define those, is that it's liquid, that it's accessible when you need it. And so first, let's just talk about why we even have them. So reasons why we have them would be if we have a job loss. So this is an unexpected, we hope that we keep our jobs for as long as we want them, but there are times where an employer lets us go before we're ready. And so we need to have savings for that time that's going to get us until the next job that we're doing. Another could be an emergency. Maybe something comes up, we're in an accident or something that's urgent and we need to take care of it. We need to have money ready. The other thing is even just things break down. So we need money for unexpected things that could happen. And you could even say that unexpected and emergency are the same thing, but they are actually different. So unexpected things are sometimes when something breaks, but we know it's going to happen. So this is why we need to have money in savings. Now, one of the interesting things is how much we should keep. And this is kind of part of what I'm trying to talk about today, because one of the things I'm noticing is that people today are keeping more in their savings accounts or in cash than they normally do. And this does make sense because the economy today is uncertain, the market is volatile, and so when we aren't sure what's going to happen, we tend to hold on to more cash. So we're seeing that more as we work with clients and have new clients come on board. So first, let's just talk about how much you should even be keeping. Very commonly, we use the 3-month to 6-month rule. Now, when we think about this 3 to 6 months of how much cash we should have, we use the 3-month rule when we have 2 income earners in your household. So there's 2 incomes coming in. We keep closer to the 6 months when there's 1 income in your household. Now let's just think about this for a second. If you have 2 people in your household working, it's pretty unlikely, even though it could happen, that both of you are going to lose your job at the same time. So, because there should always be one person, even if one person loses their job, then we need a smaller amount of savings because we'll still have some income coming in, but we need that 3 months worth to give us enough time for the other person to find a job and to get back into earning income. Likewise, with the 6 months, if there's only one person working, that might mean that they have a higher paying job. It might mean that it's going to take them longer to find a good job to replace the one they had. So we want to allow for more time so that there's more money there to support your family or you in that case. So that's typically our rule. Now today we are seeing more commonly even 6 to 12 months. Now this isn't a bad thing. It's okay to want to have more cash than the 3 to 6 months. That's perfectly fine. What we want to be careful though is if these balances go over $250,000. Now you may think that's a lot of cash, and it is, but I just want to remind you that even though it's okay to have a lot in cash, if you have an account that's going over $250,000, and the reason that might not be all that uncommon are that people could be selling homes, and then they're hoping to buy a home. So as housing prices have really fluctuated lately, there could actually just be a lot of cash sitting there waiting for them to buy that next home. So it's not that you always have that much cash, but it just could be a temporary thing. So this is why it's important to always make sure this $250,000 at one financial institution. So if I have a bank account at one bank and I'm the only one listed on the account, up to $250,000 is insured with FDIC insurance. Meaning if the bank goes bankrupt, they're going to insure that money, so I would get paid that money back. Now, let's say that you have a bank account where you have two people listed, so it's a joint account. Each person can have $250,000, so that's a total of $500,000 at any one financial institution if there's two people listed. So the rule is $250,000 per person per, and we're just going to say bank. So that's when you know you're not keeping too much in cash. So just be sure you're staying under that, because there are circumstances today that might actually cause you to have more. Now you might be wondering, or maybe you've already figured out, when should I be having a savings account? When should I make sure that I have my emergency fund funded? And that answer is always. You always want to have this step done. So these are one of your first basic steps with finances, is as you're earning money that you're setting this money aside. So then when you start investing and saving, if you have a need for money from one of these unexpected reasons, that you have somewhere to take it from instead of having to sell your investments when maybe they're lower. That's not what you want to have to do. So now that you have this large amount of cash set aside for whatever need might come, we want to make sure that you're earning as much as possible. And I know this is going to sound strange that I'm this excited about this interest rate, but today you can get closer to 1.4 or 1.5% per year in your savings account. Now I want to be specific, and this is where you need to be very careful and you need to pay attention to what your savings accounts are paying you. So for example, we're going to think money market accounts, and then also online savings accounts. These are typically the accounts, the types of accounts that are paying you the higher interest available today. Now these might be accounts such as Ally Bank or Capital One 360. And I just wanted to give you these examples so you have a couple to actually look for, but there's many out there. So there's so many. The nice thing, and what you want to look for, is that the nice thing is these accounts, when it's earning the highest today, is that as interest rates continue to go higher, and we expect them to, is that you will continue to earn more on your savings accounts. So it's important that you're putting it into these types of accounts so that as rates go up, you're earning more and you don't have to move it into a different account to earn that amount. You really want to check your savings accounts on your bank. So for example, just because you have a savings account at your bank doesn't mean that you're earning this higher rate. You actually could still be earning a much lower rate. So please be sure and check wherever you have that large balance for the savings emergency fund that it's earning as much as possible. So if you want to learn more about interest rates or inflation, we have several blog articles about this over on our website. So please go check it out. And thanks for watching.